This week, War and Order dropped one of the biggest updates we've had in a long time. This update will completely change the way that battle mechanics work, and it's pretty important that we all take advantage of the tech increases as well as the special skills that the new system includes. Hey guys, this is Heretic, and in this video, we're going to go over totems, and I'm going to show a build out of a totem, and then we're going to test the results. For this video, because it's so important, leave your feedback on totems as you go, which ones you're using, and how it's working out for you, because this is going to be a little bit of trial and error as we go through. The great thing is that you can build out a totem and then you can reset it and get back all of the materials that you use to build out that totem, and then try a different one. So if you're using a totem and it's not working out for you, you can switch it. Okay, so let's start with some of the basics. Totems are a new attack buff, and it's located here in the Oracle Square. So everything begins here in Oracle Square. This is an important place. And let me go over to the War Statue. This is another really important place, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But the Oracle Square is a new area that you're going to use for totems. All right, so let's get started with some of those basics now that we know where they are. What are they? Totems are a new attack battle buff. This means, the special skill at least, this means the skills you unlock will only be useful during attacks. It can be a solo attack, it can be an SOS attack, it can be a timed attack, it can be a speed attack with your team. And if multiple people in those attacks have totems, they will stack. As long as you are attacking, your activated totems will work. And I'll show you what activated means. When you open the totem interface, and I'm going to go here, so I go to Oracle Square and I click totem. If you look along the bottom, you'll see blue totems, purple, and gold. So just like artifacts, blue is the more entry level, purple's more the medium, and the gold is the higher end. So, and what you get out of those totems is according to the blue, purple, gold. So the blue level ones won't be as powerful, but they'll be easier to come by. So it'll be easier to level these up. It'll be easier to activate them and get, their skills out of them. Where the purple will be a little bit more difficult, and the gold will be a lot more difficult, and you'll probably get it over time. So let's go through what each of them are. So you have the fertility totem. So if you click over here, it says not awakened. When I say activated, it's awakened. All right, so the fertility blessing gives you HP for your infantry and cav. So your front end, infantry and cav, and it'll also give you, it reduces the damage. So it'll give you a damage reduction buff here. Now, on each one of these, if you want to see what it's going to look like when you fully maximize this totem, you can click this max level here, and you can actually see what it'll apply. So it'll give you up to 15% infantry or cav, or both. And it'll also reduce the damage taken by infantry and cav by 4%. And this is in addition, so you can see this. As you level up your totem, you're going to get lots of buffs as you go through. So here's archer HP. You have infantry attack, infantry HP. You take that 0.9 times 3, 2.7% there. Same thing here for your cav. And you'll get around and there'll be another level of the infantry, which would be another 2.7. So there's a 5.4 on the infantry. Little by little, you'll go through, you'll see this. Here's another 1.8. It'll add up. You'll get some HP boost here that'll be good for your and this happens with all of these. So, and as you go up between the blue and the purple, you actually get more for each. So if we go into here, you'll see it's, instead of being, the the 0.8, it goes up to, or the 0.9, it goes up to 1.2 per level. And just and we'll do this in a minute, and I'll show you kind of how it works. But you don't actually pick the items here that you want to increase. You have to go in order. So let's say your cav, it doesn't matter. Your infantry attack's going to go up first, and then your infantry HP. Then you'll get to the cav HP and the cav and the archer attack and the mage attack. You know, you'll have to. It'll go in order all the way around to the end. Okay. So, all right, so we looked at the fertility, and now we're going to look at the hunting totem, which is the second blue one. And on this one, and we'll look at the max here, when the battle starts, you'll get an attack boost of up to 15% for your archers and mages, and you'll also get a damage increase buff up to 4% at the max level. Then we can go over, I'm going to go through these kind of a little bit quicker here. Fire totem, and the first purple one that we're going to look at here, it will give you damage. It immediately deals, so every 9 seconds. So this is where it, you know, when you get into the purple, you get some of these really cool effects that happen during the attack. With the flame hammer, every 9 seconds, you're going to get damage equal to the battle power, to your battle power, up to 4 million. So if you're over 4 million, it cuts off at 4 million times 2.4 at the max. No, up to 8 times 18 at the max level. And then every time it does do damage, the damage will increase by 24% the next time. So it's huge, and it can stack up to 3 times. So the flame hammer looks really good. All right, so then we have the darkness totem. The darkness totem, we're going to look at these all max level. Every 9 seconds, it's going to hit 6 different enemy troops. It can't repeatedly attack the same target. So if you're attacking, you know, someone that's going straight line and they have 3 rows, you know, they have their let's say infantry, and then their angel, and then their mage, it's going to hit up to 6. It just can't do them the same one again and again. So every time, and also every time, so it's 4 million times 3 is what it can do. But it can hit 6 different. So this would be great in more of a timed attack, a speed attack. You know, where you're going out with a big group of people, and it's going to be a long battle. So every 9 seconds. So, you know, there's a potential of 4 or 5 times it can go. And it's going to hit 6 different rows. It's going to hit 6 different troops. So that's pretty. This is a Grim Reaper would be great for your big battles here, your team battles. All right, and then let's go over to the Order Guard. So in the Order Guard, I'm going to look at this max too. For the first 9 seconds of the battle, it's going to absorb 50% of damage taken up to 4 million times 36, or until you're dead, you know. And then after the effect wears off, it's going to reduce the damage taken by 1 random troop priority to the front row by 12% for 10 seconds. And I've already used this once, and I'm going to show you how it works. It says for the first 9 seconds of the battle, what I've seen is that the shield doesn't actually appear until 9 seconds in. So you need to have enough front line available to last that first 9 seconds. But then when you get to that 9 seconds, that shield appears, and it's going to protect you, you know, until it's absorbed enough, the max amount of damage that it can absorb. All right, so then let's go to the gold, and these are the amazing ones. And I haven't even seen the items that you can get in the game to awaken these, to level these up. So I haven't been able to try it out yet. But at the max level, every 9 seconds, it attacks enemy troops priority to the front row, dealing true damage equal to the total battle power of your troops up to 8 million times 3.7 up to times 3.75 to all enemy troops. Every time you attack, it additionally increases the damage of the next attack by 20%. And and it can stack up to 2 times. It can go up to 40%. That's huge. I wish I could get that one now. I would. Then you have the Wrath's Punishment, which is on the Wrath totem. And here it is, and we'll go to max level. Every 9 seconds, it's going to summon lightning storms to shroud the enemy for 4 seconds. It reduces the lightning for the follow-up when your troops attack, additionally dealing damage by 30% to the attack target, so of your normal attack. Lightning has a 24% chance of additionally attacking another target. Priority to the back row here. Priority to the back row. And so one thing that I want to quickly point out here, so looking at the blue, so you have to awaken these. You have to activate these. These aren't just going to start working. There's some requirements here. So to activate, to awaken your totem, it needs to have a skill level of at least 7. And the artifacts that you use need to have a star level of at least 3. With blue, you can have up to 2 different artifacts. With purple, you can have 3. With gold, you can have 3. So let's look at what does it take for one of your purple activations. It's gonna, same thing, skill level reaches 7, and the star level needs to be 5 here to actually activate it. And I can tell you that as you move up, you know, getting the max amount of what you need here will actually increase for your gold. So on your gold, you need to activate, you need a skill level of 7. All right. So let's look at, you know, let's go ahead and take one look over here at the war statue. And this is really important. I don't know how long it's going to be here, but I really advise everyone to go look out. When you start building out your totems, this is a great place to start. So you can look through and they'll show you, like, they'll give you all the data that you need here, but also they'll show you how it works in a battle. And you can, you know, start from the beginning again and let's see what happens with the earth. So you can see that massive attack that goes off. And same thing with the wrath. So you can look here at the wrath and you can see these clouds, these cool little blue clouds that appear over the enemy troops and over several at the same time, you see, because it lasts for I think 4 seconds, right? Then if you go, you know, over here to the next one, you can take a look through and see what's actually going to happen in these battles. And I really advise looking through here. You can actually see here that this shield, you know, takes place, you know, into the battle, not at the very beginning, like the tooltip says, but then you can see the shield on these frontline troops that goes out and it absorbs damage for you. And the same thing on the fire here. So you can watch the video here. And, you know, I may go out and try this one now, the fire, and see what happens. Yeah, so it attacks here for you. So you can read these and it gives you the information that you need. And it'll actually show you a short little video of the skill in action, which is really cool and helpful. So now I'm going to go into Oracle Square, and we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, how this all works. So if I want to, you know, apply this shield, or if I want to do, which one did I say I'm going to do? Let's do, that's the team one. If I want more of a solo one, I want to use this flame hammer. So I want to build this one up, right? So I see 3 little pluses here. So what does this mean? When you actually go in, you can't do anything until you pick an artifact. And so here's where it gets really important. You can't use an artifact that's currently in an array. But also, if you switch around, between different arrays, which I think pretty much everyone does, like for troop recruitment, you have a different array. Well, if you do that, you need to make sure that you don't use one of your good artifacts with the totem. So the totems is a great place to use these, the cup of Jamshid, or one of the Eye of Horus, something that you're not going to normally ever use. And so you can just apply this in here and it'll be used. So I'm not going to be using the Excalibur, for example. So I can add the Excalibur here, and I can go back and you can see the Excalibur. That's 3 stars total. And remember when we looked at this, the star level needs to be level 5. So now I need to add in a couple more of my artifacts. So I could pick the Eye of Horus, and I can go back, and then I can pick the Cup of Jamshid. So I'm not going to normally ever use those guys. So now I can go back, and there you go. So now I've reached the 5, and so it shows me that I've reached the 5, but I need to get that skill level up to 7. So the skill level would be within here. So this is so this will increase my totem stats. So here I can go through, and as you upgrade, you can't really pick, like I said, you can't really pick this and then do it. What's going to happen is you're going to upgrade and it's going to automatically take you through this. And so you can pick 3, then it'll go over to my infantry HP, and then it'll get to something that's actually useful to me, which is my cav HP. So I'll get that up to 3.6. And then it'll go to archer attack, which is also useful to me. Then it'll go to mage attack. And so now I'm over 7. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to use this. So, so here, so whenever you're raising up these skills, one thing to note is you have a limited supply here of this runestone as you're building these up. And so you see that these all have skills associated with it. So I want to get my archer attack. Let's say I stop at my archer attack and I'm good here. I can back up, and then I can go into the next one and I can upgrade that, and I can get back over to my cav HP. I can get mage attack. I can get my archer attack here to 1 at least. But you see, if you put it all into 1, you're going to run out really quick. And then you won't be able to maximize the amount of stat bonuses that you get here. So if you see here, I have my cav HP at 7.2, my archer attack. Those are the 2 things that I really care about at 8.4. So this gave me a better upgrade than if I would have put it all into my first artifact. So now it's not awakened. You see it's not awakened there. So now you would go to awakening, and now I click that and it used some of my my sonic tattoos, and now it's awakened. You see it? And now what you'll see is whenever I actually use this, if I go out and I perform an attack, let's see if it'll let me. Yep. So if I attack someone, I need to attack someone where the battle will last long enough for me to, here we go. So you can see it here. This fire totem is a part of this attack at the top. You see that? That's how I know it's actually working. So even though it's only at level 2, it's actually applied. It just won't give me the maximum amount, which I would get at 7. So here I could reduce this. I could go ahead and set my march how I want it. Set my attack, and let's see if we can actually see this occur. So it should happen about 9 seconds in here. So you see that? It went out and a hit, the fire hit. So that's what that one's doing. All right. And I was using the shield, so now when it hits, it hit again. All right. Now we'll see it hit again there at the 27 seconds. All right. So I got three hits in there. So that was pretty cool. And now, and I can show you what the shield does. The shield's the same thing. It's at 9 seconds. So if I look here at my battle reports, and I look at one of the ones from a little bit earlier, where I was using the order totem here at skill level 2, and I do a replay, you'll see, wait for 9 seconds. Here we go. Now you'll see that shield appear on my frontline cav, and it's going to protect my cav all the way through this fight. It absorbed a ton of damage that allowed me to eat through their front line and win the battle. So this is a close battle. I probably would have lost it without that totem. I definitely would have lost it without that totem. Look at another one here. So if I do a replay here, look for it at about 9 seconds. You'll see the shield appear on my troops right now. So there's the shield. It's appeared on my cav. And now if I speed that up, it gave me just enough to get through their front line. But the thing is, you have to, so on my first attack here, I'm going to show you, I went out and what I did was I used a lot less of my front line. So I thought, since I have the shield, I'll be able to use more of my back line now to get me to, to eat through their front line quicker. And so when I did this, I won, but I could tell it would have been a lot better. See, he ate through my cav, and that shouldn't happen. And that happened because I didn't use enough front line. So you're going to have to play with this a little bit to get this, this percentage of front line. If you're using the shield, like what you need to use now as far as your formation, your march setup, is going to change a little bit so that you make use of the shield to its full effect, which would be a little bit less frontline, right? Honestly, you're going to use less frontline, more backline, but you need to have enough frontline to make it to that 9-second mark so that shield starts working for you. So there's part of it. So another thing you can do, like how do you get all of these different items? So one of them is you have these quests that are always going on, and you can do 2 at a time. And so you can see here I just finished one of these quests and I got 10 Oracle XP, and we'll talk about that, and normal and Sonic tattoos, normal runestones and the tattoos. So that would be for my blue. So if you're a free-to-play player, you're going to want to keep these quests going on all the time, and you're going to focus on the blue to get your tech upgrades from that. You also have these free refreshes. So as you go in, like if you finished them, the ones that are available, you hit the refresh and you'll get more that you can do. You can also break down. So if you're not going to use any blue ever, you could break that down, and then you can go into the shop and you can buy stuff with that. So, once I get to Oracle level 6, I could break down some of the other materials and I could buy some of the superior that I need. So it's just another way of getting what you need. So doing these quests is not just for people that are going to be using blue. It's also going to be really useful for the people that are using purple and gold as well. So one thing, you need to do your quest all the time. You're going to have to do a little bit of trial and error, and as we go, based on your feedback, my team's feedback, and my own, just kind of playing through each of these different totems, we're going to find the ones that work best for us. You're going to want to focus on where you're weak. So for example, and I'll show you why, my weakness is my cav HP, my cav's ability to survive. So if I look at my details, I can show you my cav HP is 250, my archer attack's 348. The problem is not my attack. The problem is my front line's ability to survive long enough for my archers to wipe out their front line, right? So my weakness is my cav HP. So probably the best things for me would be if I was a free-to-play player or a very, very low spend player, I would stick with the fertility totem. And I'll show you that real quick. So the fertility totem is going to give me my HP that I need to just kind of boost me up a little bit. In the purple, I'm going to want to stick with the shield. And we showed why, right? Because after 9 seconds, I'll get a little shield on there that basically provides some damage reduction, right? In the end, it's going to allow my front line to last longer so that my back line can do what it needs to do. And if I was in the gold, man, these both look amazing. I would stick with, personally, I would stick with the Earth's Rage on the Earth Totem. Because the damage looks amazing. But on here on the Wrath Totem, it looks really good too, especially if you're doing if you're mostly fighting in speed attacks and whatnot like that. So I do hope that this video helps, and I hope that this little kind of walkthrough helps you as we go through, and there will be updates to this as we go along. This has been out for now a little bit over 24 hours. So we're just still kind of getting to know which of the totems are the best. I can tell you that the shield is pretty darn good. See which ones are the best, and as we go, we'll find out more and we will update. All right. And with that, take care.